Hello and welcome to my channel In Search of Wonder. My name is Anne and today is my weekly wrap up. I hope everyone enjoyed a wonderful Christmas celebration with your loved ones and that you just had a wonderful and blessed Christmas. I know we haven't quite finished celebrating ours as I am starting this video, but we have already had such a wonderful time. On Saturday morning, my little family, we celebrated our Christmas together, our family Christmas, what we call it. Normally we do that Christmas Eve morning. It's the time that we just carved out a long time ago just for our little family to celebrate Christmas together. We have a special breakfast. I do a whole tablescape. I make the same menu every time. My mom's famous sticky buns and a sausage ring. And yeah, so it's a very special time for us as a family. And we just had a wonderful little Christmas. We exchanged our gifts with each other. And then Christmas Eve, which is when my family always celebrates Christmas in the evening, we went to church with my one sister's family to the Christmas Eve service, and then we went to her house afterwards and exchanged our gifts. And let me just tell you, that is utter mayhem. There were, I believe, 10 adults and 9 children there. The children were in one room first. They exchanged all of their gifts, and then the adults exchanged all their gifts in the other room, and it was loud and it was crazy. But my favorite part, I think actually a lot of us, our favorite part is before we open the presents, before all the mayhem and the chaos, we of course read the Christmas story from the Bible, but we also spend some time singing our favorite Christmas carols. This year I introduced a new tradition, and I printed out the sheet music for Pentatonic's O Come All Ye Faithful, and we sang along with a recording because we're not that good. We sang along with a recording. Everybody like picked apart and we sang, or perhaps we like jumped around between parts depending on what was going on in the song. Anyway, and we tried our hands at, or our voices I should say, at singing the Pentatonic's O Come All Ye Faithful, and that was super fun. We had a great time.
Jesus Christ is born.
And let me tell you, I am cleaning up in the bookish gift department, guys. Somehow word has gotten out that I'm into books. Like, I don't know how. How do people know that? It's like weird, but anyways. Word has gotten out that I'm into books, and I can't complain because it results in lots of very delightful bookish gifts. So I wanted to share some of them with you. First of all was one that my friend made for me. She's actually my pastor's wife, and apparently her local library was doing like a demo or a craft. They gave you the books and they showed you how to do this craft. So she thought of me immediately and she made one for me, which was so sweet. It's a book, right? I have no idea what that book is about, but how cool is that? And so I have it sitting on my shelf, of course, with the heart facing outward. I love it. Oh, look how it like ripples as you turn it from side to side. So anyway, very cool. She also gave me a bookmark. Very appropriate. It says, drink good coffee and read good books. I mean, what more can you ask for out of life? And does she know me or what? And then one of my sisters got me these amazing earrings. Let's see if I can... my son going up and down the stairs. Anyway, if you can see, there's their bookshelves. There we go. Coming into focus there. That's nice. So, those adorable earrings, which I cannot wait to wear. Reminds me I don't actually have any earrings on at the moment, but it's Christmas earring season. But as soon as Christmas earring season is over, popping these on. And then another sister gave me a DVD of Wives and Daughters, which means that I can return the copy that I borrowed from my other sister, like, I don't know, a year ago. And then this lovely pouch by Out of Print, which I love their stuff. Well, I guess that's, this is pouch orientation. This, so you can see, it's a cover of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and then a quote in the back. Life and love are very precious when both are in full bloom. So I love that. I'm going to put like my highlighting pencils and book tabs and everything in here. Perfect. And then just after I made myself a lovely reading journal for 2024 and forward, I got this for Christmas, but this kind of serves a little bit of a different function. So, Bibliophile Reader's Journal. This one is more just, first of all, it has these stacks of books every few pages, which is really lovely. But the bulk of this is just a place for you to record books and your thoughts about them, which is super helpful and not something I really have space for in my other reader journal. So it kind of provides a different function. And if I have the time to keep up with it, it will be a very useful tool. So I love the cover, the colors, and all of the pages in it that have book covers or bookshelves. This is iconic covers. Here's another stack of spines. So anyway, that's really cool. And then this was in my stocking. These are some vintage books. So this is Alson's Pocket Music Dictionary, which I love. So cool. And then this is the Gray Book of Favorite Songs, engraved edition. I love vintage songbooks. And there was one I was trying to read through last night, somewhat unsuccessfully because there are lots of accidentals in here that I was not hearing in my mind. But it was by Sir Arthur Sullivan. So, anyway, really cool. And then this notebook, which is so adorable, with the B on the front, and just a lined journal. And then, now this one would work very well for a reading journal for a year. It's got this bookish cover, but then on the inside, like one page is lined and the other is blank. So this is really cool. You can like write things here, but then this can be more like for lettering or art or pasting stuff in there, whatever. So I really like that design. That's cool. More journals should be like that with a lined page and a blank page. What do you think? And then another bookmark. How pretty is that? In a little case. And finally, oh, not finally, I have two more things to show you. This is a glass drinking cup with a stainless steel straw. But let me show you the design. Very cool. Can you hear my husband singing? Anyways, so isn't that lovely? And finally, this is not necessarily bookish, but this is a mug of Bath, which is one of my favorite places in England. But I was only there for like 2 hours on a bus tour. And it is my dream to go back there, hopefully with my husband, maybe for our 20th anniversary, and go back and spend some real time in Bath. But first of all, the Jane Austen Museum is there, and Jane Austen lived for a time in Bath, so it has definite connections there. Also, it features prominently in many Regency novels, and it's just a cool place in England. But those are its bookish connections. So, anyway, it has all of the areas in Bath in it. And my sister thought of me when she saw it, so she got that for me. So that is my Christmas gift bookish haul. And I'd love to know if you got anything for Christmas that feeds your bookish obsessions. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. And I will talk to you next time. It's been a wonderful Christmas. I've also managed to read, as I said, 2 Christmas books, and working on a third, and plan to get to 1 or 2 more before the week is out. So let me talk about the ones that I've already read. First of all, I read Catching Christmas by Terri Blackstock, and that one was highly recommended by many people, booktubers, people on Goodreads that I follow, etc., Instagram. Everybody who has read it has more or less loved it for the most part. So I finally got around to reading it this Christmas, and some people reread it annually, which there's so many Christmas books, I don't think I would be able to do that, but it was very good, and I can see why you would want to. Being a novella, I feel like, you know, the romance aspect of the story was underdeveloped, but I almost always feel that way about a novella. But really, that's not necessarily the point of the story anyway. So it doesn't suffer too much because of it. I loved the story was told from the guy's perspective, and it was in present tense first person, which is my least favorite of all narrative styles. I really don't like present tense at all. And I like first person, but it can be iffy. But this one actually really worked for me because it really made you feel like you were experiencing the story as it happened along with the main character, the narrator of the story. And it really worked this time for me. So it didn't distract me from the story. In fact, I was a good way in before I even realized it was present tense. So that's pretty good, because if I'm noticing it from the get-go, then it's too much and it's bothering me. But I didn't notice it until I was a good way through the book. I was like, oh, wait, has this been in present tense the whole entire time and I didn't even notice? So that's one instance where it didn't bother me. So I did enjoy it. I liked that the main character, he was kind of like a grumpy guy. And he had like this grizzly bear persona that he gave off, but really inside he was just a big old teddy bear. So I really like that kind of male character. This seems all gruff on the outside, but really is very tenderhearted. And then the girl, she's like frazzled and harried and stressed out and trying to make the right decisions in her life, but, you know, just has too much piling up on her at once. And in the end, she manages to make the right decisions just in time. And there are places in this story where I laughed and places where I cried. And it does deal with some heavier issues, but not in a way that weighs you down. So it was a very good read for Christmas time, and I enjoyed that. Catching Christmas by Terri Blackstock. The other one that I read, I got it off of Project Gutenberg, is The Romance of a Christmas Card by Kate Douglas Wiggin, I think is her last name. I always forget. Yes, Wiggin. And she's most famous for Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, if you've read that children's classic. And this is a short Christmas story that she wrote. And it's one of those, it was published in 1916, so not strictly Victorian, but it definitely has that feel of a sentimental Victorian story. A little bit on the moralistic side, whatever, but very sweet, and set in a small town with these annual Christmas traditions. And there are two prodigal sons, and they both find their way home on a Christmas Eve because the pastor's wife had made and sold to a publishing company these drawings for Christmas cards that were based on one of the homes in that community. And they both recognized the home, and they were drawn to it for different reasons. One was the brother of the girl who lived there, and the other was the love interest of the girl who lived there. Both had left town a decade or so before. A lot of water had passed under the bridge. A lot of things had happened, and now they're ready to go home and mend bridges and renew relationships, etc. So it was a really sweet story about restoration and the prodigal son coming home and etc. Second chance romance kind of thing. So really sweet story that I enjoyed, and not very long at all. I don't know how many pages, but it didn't feel like very long at all. And currently I am reading Mr. Dickens and His Carol, which I borrowed from my sister, and I'm almost finished with it. So I think I'll make another update with my complete thoughts on it, because right now I'm kind of like, but two of my sisters who have read it gave it pretty good ratings. So we'll see how I feel about it when I get all the way to the end. So that is my update for the moment. I will make another clip after I finish this book and possibly one or two others, and see you next time. Hello, so I finished this book, and I know this is a strange setting here and bad video, whatever. Sorry, I just need to film this really quick and get this hair out of my eye because we are going to see my sister, and I need to return her book to her. So I finished this last night, almost this morning, and it was very good. I liked the style of writing. The author, Samantha Silva, I love how she wasn't trying to be Dickens, I don't think, but she was definitely writing with a similar wit to his and similar, I don't know, turns of phrase kind of way of writing. Definitely nodding to Dickens' style. And she did it very well. Like it was her own, and it was interesting and witty and created some lovely prose. And so I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed the character Charles Dickens as she presented him. She's a very emphatic that she is not trying to present anything factual or biographical about Charles Dickens, but I think she is trying to capture the essence of who he was. And, you know, as much as any of us can who never knew him and just have his books and his history to rely on. She did a fine job as far as that goes. As for the rest of it, how I feel about it, I can't really say because it would spoil it. And there's a pretty big thing that happens in the story. There's a pretty big twist that I can't give away, and I can't talk about how I really feel about it without giving that away. So I do know that in later years, Charles Dickens' marriage went awry, and it seems more than likely that there was adultery involved, probably with more than one other person, possibly with his own sister-in-law. And I felt like in a large part of this story that it was developing into a possibly adulterous relationship, and that's all I can say. So that kind of gave it a little bit of a for me. Like, it wasn't, that didn't actually happen. So just so you know, so there are zero content concerns as far as that goes. It's a very clean book, clean story. But anyways, that just gives me a little pause. So I think I would give 3.5 stars. I'll put it up to 3.5 because the writing was very good. 3 stars because that big plot twist, I don't know, I have questions about that. I see what the author was trying to do. I get it. It makes sense. I'm just not sure I loved it. I just don't feel like it worked together in a cohesive whole for me. And additionally, I felt kind of bogged down at parts. Like, he walks around London at night a lot, which is what he really did, is my understanding. But there's only so many times you can walk the same ground in a row and it be interesting. So every night he's walking the streets of London, thinking very similar thoughts every night, struggling with the same things. Every night. Like, it would have been better to have it like happen a couple of times. I don't know. I just got a little bit bogged down in all of the walking and thinking and mulling over things in his life. And I had to push through parts of it. Like the middle-ish, I guess. So anyway, it was an interesting story. I am glad I read it. If you like Dickens and Christmas Carol and that sort of thing, you would probably enjoy it. Victorian era stories. Anyway, it was good. It was just not my favorite book. Probably won't read it again at Christmas time. Too many other great books to read, but it was good. I'm glad I read it. 3.5 stars. Okay, so we're at McKay. You can bring it in now. And of course, I'm going to see what all I can find at McKay to bring home. These are the books I settled on. This to read in January for the Read Your Shelf Challenge. So technically it's going to be on my shelf before January. So that counts, right? Has a dog on the cover. Hound of the Baskervilles. The Spell of the Yukon by Robert Service. I read his poetry earlier this year. I borrowed a book from the library. So now I have my own copy. Outliers. It was only 99 cents. I have read parts of it. Kind of curious to read the whole thing, so I figured for 99 cents. And then this one, I just reread Rebecca recently, and this looks interesting. Anybody read this sequel? I have personally never heard of it. Also, I don't believe I've ever heard of that author, but it has some rave reviews from various people in it. It's supposed to be a plausible sequel to Rebecca, so we'll see. final update for the week. I finished reading Gospel Primer for Believers, for Christians. Short little book that I buddy read with Carrie, one of my subscribers. And it was wonderful to read it with someone else and to exchange notes on it. I wish that I had planned to spend a little bit more time on the first section. I kind of did. I got a little bit delayed reading the first section, part 1. That is the one where the real meat of the truth is. And it's really would work well as a devotional to spend a little bit of time meditating on the truths one day at a time. But still, it was very good. Because we spread it out over the whole month, the whole entire book, I was able to linger over it a little bit and really think about some of the truths. And also both of us got some recommendations of other books that were quoted in here that we would like to read also. One is The Cross-Centered Life by C.J. Mahaney, and the other is Gospel-Driven Sanctification by Jerry Bridges. So those are books that I'm going to add to my TBR and will eventually read. So I still give this 5 stars on my reread of it, and I enjoyed reading it as a buddy read. That was a lot of fun. I'm currently reading a romance novel, a Christmas romance novel, to wrap up my year with an easy, fun read. I think it's called A Mistletoe Mismatch by Sally Britton. I had read a book by Sally Britton earlier this year and really enjoyed it, so I picked up one of her Christmas novellas just for fun to read in my downtime these last couple days of my break. And it's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's part of a multi-author Christmas novella series called something about match, something mismatch, Christmas, I don't know. Anyway, matches, mismatches, something. The actual book, I believe, is called Mistletoe Mismatch. So it's a little bit of enemies to lovers, but also friends to lovers because they've known each other a long time. And they're more friends than not, but there's a little bit of angst there. Anyway, a little bit of combination of those tropes. And it obviously set at Christmas time, and a little bit of a meddling matchmaking great aunt there. So I am overall enjoying it. It's just a fun way to close out the year, and I'm going to pick up Death on the Nile as soon as I'm done with that. And yeah, so have a very happy new year. Enjoy your celebration. It has been wonderful wrapping up this year with you, and I'm looking forward to 2024 and all of the books we will read then. Talk to you later. Bye.